What's up, everybody? Just back with another video. Just wanted to saw a little bit of a video here today, and I just wanted to react to the rest of it with you guys. It's just Pierre Poilievre going after the liberals again. Let's have a look, and then we'll talk about it after.
To deal with the crisis of doubling housing costs and 22 million people forced to food banks, the Prime Minister could have followed our common sense plan to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Instead, he blew over $60 million on an Arrive scam app that we didn't need, didn't work, sent 10,000 people erroneously into quarantine, losing income, all the while the thing costed 750 times more than the Prime Minister promised. Won't he stand up today and admit that the app is just like him? It's not worth the cost, it's not worth the corruption.
The moment there were allegations around cost overruns or inappropriate contracting practices, the Canadian Border Services Agency immediately began an internal audit and made the appropriate referrals to the appropriate authorities.
If he wants to hold someone to account for the Arrive scam, why not hold the one person who had the authority to create the Arrive scam and who had the authority to stop the Arrive scam, and that's the Prime Minister. He is the government. This was a government program we warned wasn't needed, wouldn't work, and now we know it went 750 times over budget. 75% of the contractors did no work at all, but they did buy whiskey and other treats for the top Liberal government officials. Again, won't the Prime Minister admit the app is just like him? Not worth the cost, not worth the corruption.
We are committed to continuing to ensure that contracts are delivered in a fair, efficient, and transparent manner.
And again, the Prime Minister is hiding under a rock, refusing to stand up and explain himself after he blew $60 million on this Arrive scam while Canadians cannot afford to eat, heat, or house themselves. This scam involved taking money that could be used for border security, like scanning the 99% of shipping containers that go without any inspection from our ports with stolen cars, not to mention other things that Canadians could have done with that money. Instead, it stuffed the pockets of 75% of the contractors who did no work. Again, will the Prime Minister admit that the Arrive scam is not worth the cost and not worth the corruption?
All right, I mean, that's just another example of Pierre Poilievre just owning the liberals. I don't know where Justin Trudeau was. I'm sure he was off doing something important, but again, just not there, not able to answer the questions. Then he's got his three dope minions. They can't answer the questions. They're not holding themselves accountable. And Pierre Poilievre's idea for border security is much better than Trudeau's. Yes, you're going to have to spend money into fixing this, so you have every shipping container come through those giant scanners that scan the shipping containers. You can see what's in it. You can make sure everything's, whatever's in there, that it's supposed to be in there. If there's something wrong, instead of having 5 people there to check it, you hire more people, creating more jobs. Now there's going to be 75 people to check those containers. One gets flagged, 2 check that one. Another one gets flagged, you get 2 more guys to check that one. It's a way better plan than just, wow, let's just throw money at something. We're just going to throw money to fight organized crime. I got some news for you, liberals. You are the organized crime. You and your NDP cronies. Again, this is not to say that conservatives don't have their own problems, but they're just hammering the liberals. Every time they make a fiscal mistake, and they make a lot of them, Pierre Poilievre is just right there. His whole cabinet, the whole entire conservative, all the members of the conservative part of parliament they're just attacking them on the same things. And every time they make a mistake, just boom, making sure that Canadians know about it. There's a lot of Canadians out there who don't realize, how bad Trudeau is. I think they'll come over it. They'll wake up over time, but I don't know. It's it's unfortunate, but there's always going to be people who disagree with people like me, and that's fine. But when you watch these question period segments, you can just see how the liberals have no answers. They always deflect, and then they get their attack dog journalist to come right after him, and then he just embarrasses the journalist too. And by the way, when I say journalist, I'm using that term very lightly. Canadian journalism, especially from places like the CBC or Global or the Toronto Star, they're not journalists. They're far left, propaganda activists. That's what these people are. They just spread propaganda, and they have an agenda, and they don't care that it's hurting Canadians. They don't care about the middle class, and you're seeing them pay for it. I mean, it's again, I know I've said this a lot, but it looks like Pierre Poilievre is going to get well over 200 seats. I can't imagine what he would have to do. He would have to do something so remarkable to screw this up, and I don't see it happening. And I don't even see the Liberals, whatever dirty tricks they're going to use. They just put out a hit piece in the Toronto Star about him. Well, that didn't work out too well because now a new poll came out. And I'm going to talk about that in another video very shortly, but it literally reversed on him. Pierre Poilievre is gaining in the polls even more now. And he just keeps destroying the Liberals. He has better policies. His border policy is way better, and his renewable energy plan is way better. Harvesting the energy from the waves that are... We have a giant coastal line on the west and the east coast. So you install these machines that... apparently they have the technology and apparently they work. You have to spend some money to doing it, but if you have this reliable, renewable, green form of energy that we can start to filter in, that's what we should do. And Pierre Poilievre thinks that the natural energy from the waves and the currents can help that. I don't know if he's right, but it doesn't seem like anything that Trudeau's doing is working, and all he's doing is raising the taxes. So, his ideas aren't working, and we're paying for it. And I think Canadians are really, really sick and tired of it.